Page 289 in your songbook. Oh, come all you faithful. Yeah, here we go. Oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Sing, choirs of angels, sing in exultation. Oh, sing, all ye bright host of heaven above. Glory to God, all glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Last verse. Yea, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning. Jesus, to thee be all glory give. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Thank you. Have a seat. Let's go, Lord, in prayer. Does anybody have a spoken prayer request? Charlie? Okay. Marie? Yes. Yes. Okay. It's Mr. Lemon was on our prayer list for years. They got saved just a few weeks ago. And he passed this past week. Okay. Anybody else with prayer requests? Yeah. Heather Nick's baby, Hannah had adenoids removed this morning. She was up at the hospital at 7 o'clock. She was taking her back to surgery, and I hadn't heard anything back. I'm sure Tammy's got information, but I hadn't hardly seen Tammy since this morning. So I'm sure she went well. I hadn't heard anything back from her. So pray for a quick recovery for the baby. She's a year old. Yes. Yeah, born this October last year. So. Okay. Anybody else with a spoken request? Anyway, unspoken request that you want to pray about, not to mention that. All right, let's go to a little prayer. The Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be in your house. I pray that your blessing, all we say and do, will bring honor and glory to you. I pray for all the kids that are here tonight. Also, if there's any that's lost, we'll see them saved. And I pray that I pray that you'll grant the requests that are according to your will, Lord, for those who are sick, those that have special needs within the family, the cancer tests and treatments. Some of our church family going through rough trials with physical needs. I pray that you bless them and you make yourself presently known to them. I pray that you'll use us this week for your glory. Use us tonight to get to your lesson. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. A couple announcements. Of course, tonight the kids are having a party back in the back in the classrooms, and there's things set up for pictures, and so if anyone wants to go back and get Kathy, you and Marlon want to go back and get a picture taken after church. There's Wileen and Kelly and them, Michelle and whoever else worked on it did a great job on that. And Tracy, setting that up back there for the party night. Looks really good. So you need to go back there after church, and if there's any pizza left over and snacks, you're welcome to them. This Saturday at 2 o'clock, we'll go Christmas caroling to some of the we call them shut-ins. There's some people that just can't get out at all. The only time they leave the house or the haulers go to the doctor or something like that. A lot of them can't come to church anymore. So we're going to go see them Saturday at 2 o'clock. And it usually takes about 2 hours to make our rounds there when we want to go see. So if you come go sing with us and you think, well, John, I can't sing very well. That's okay. Most of them can't hear very well. So it works out even. No one has ever complained about our singing, right? Even there was one, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, about half the church was sick. So Tammy and I went by ourselves. And was that last year, Tammy and I went by ourselves? Okay. Like everybody else was sick, so we went anyway, and we had a good time. We went down to Kathy Comer's, the high-rise thing she lives in down in Dunbar, and there's like a crowd of 20 people gathered to sing with us. I mean, we had a good time there. So it's always good. Just no matter who goes, we'll have a good time. If there's only 2 people go, we'll go. But if there's 20 people go, it's better. Okay? That's our announcement. For caroling, I wasn't planning on running the bus when I go pick up a bunch of kids. But if you want to go, let Alan know. Okay? I'm sure Alan will drive if you want to go. Okay? And we'll run the bus from here, but I wasn't planning on running the bus to go pick up everybody. But if you let Alan know, yeah. Yes. Yeah, we'll get on the van and go together. Yeah, we'll drive the van and all ride together. Yeah. Okay. What other announcements? Next Wednesday is Christmas Day, and some people say, "Well, you're going to not go to church on Christmas Day, are you?" Yeah, we are. So it's next Wednesday night, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. We won't run the vans to pick up kids unless you specifically want to. If you want picked up, we'll pick you up. We'll make sure you get picked up. A lot of people will be here with their family, and I don't know how many people will show up, but we'll be here. Okay, so we'll have a good service that night too. Okay. All right. I think if there's anything other announcements. Okay, open your Bibles. Anybody got testimony? God's blessed you some way. You want to tell everybody about it? Something special He's done for you recently. I don't know if this is normal. This is kind of normal for me, but I feel like I'm on the run all the time. I mean, from about 4 o'clock every morning till 10 o'clock at night, and sometimes it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm wide awake and starting early because there's something I have to do. And it's like it's always like that. I don't know if I'm ever caught up. I don't know if that's a testimony of just me or how God's provided for us and things we get to do or we're allowed to do. 2 Kings chapter 8. 2 Kings chapter 8. We're going to 2 Kings. Just open your Bible. You got a Bible? You look off Miss Joe's then. Okay, 2 Kings chapter 8, and usually about this time I say, who's the preacher that we've been talking about here lately? But tonight we're not going to mention any of the preachers, I don't think. We're going to look at something else. We're going to look at the kings, a couple of the kings. Wait till you find it. 2 Kings chapter 8. Everybody got it? Two kings. So she don't mind our singing then, does she, Larry? She can hear very good, so she doesn't care how much we sing. Don't bother her a bit. When we were in Chicago, Tammy and I worked a route, and it was all deaf people. And there was 2 guys on our route that couldn't hear it. And they weren't older guys, whatever, probably 50s maybe, but they're completely deaf. And both of them were completely stone deaf. And every Sunday afternoon we stopped at McDonald's because all the deaf, that's like the only social time they had for the week, because they lived all over the Chicago area. They come to church on Sunday, and then we had like 60 people stop at the same McDonald's every Sunday afternoon. So these 2 guys got into it, and they lived together. They lived in the same like apartments next door to each other, or something like that. And they're good friends, but they were yelling at each other, and it was just kind of funny for them to be yelling. And I mean, a freight crane could go by, they'd feel it, but they wouldn't hear it. They were both trying to explain something to each other, and it's completely. Anyway, it's funny at the time. Hey, 2 Kings chapter 8, look down verse 16. I'm going to read this slow because these names are kind of hard to get confused. I get confused when I read through this stuff, but I want to go through this, okay? In the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat being then king of Judah, Jehoram, that's not Joram, the first part of the verse says Joram, the son of Ahab, then Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. So names are almost identical, a little bit different. 32 years old was he when he began to reign. He reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab. It tells you why he did this. For the daughter of Ahab was his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Stop reading right there. Okay. We're going to divide up the kingdom. Okay? This is going to be the northern kingdom, and this is the southern kingdom. Okay? When Solomon died, Israel was divided, northern kingdom and southern kingdom. And Solomon's son, Rehoboam, was the king of Judah. They divided it, called Israel was then called Israel and Judah. And when they divided the kingdom, for the next 100 years or 150 years, all the kingdom was divided. And they came back together. Most often they were enemies with each other. And a couple of the kings got back together, like mostly when Judah wanted to do it, wanted to side up with Israel for something and make peace with their brothers. It'd be like the United States being divided. We're kind of divided right now politically, but it'd be like when we had a civil war, there were people in the South that didn't want to join back up with the North after the battle was over. And a lot of Israel was that way. Okay. In the northern kingdom, they called it Israel. In the southern kingdom, they called it, what do they call it, Charlie? Judah. Very good. Okay. And where we were reading, the king that had been king over Israel, northern kingdom, was Ahab. He was a vile, wicked man. What's his wife's name? Remember his wife's name? Jezebel. Ahab and Jezebel, right? He was called, one famous preacher called him the toad of the devil. Okay? So Ahab and Jezebel. And they had children, and Ahab had a bunch of children, even one just from her. Okay. His son is reigning over Judah, and he is not a good guy. Matter of fact, if you read through the history of over Israel, if you read through the history of all of Israel in the northern kingdom of Israel, there's only one king that's halfway decent. Everyone else is evil. They worship all kinds of false gods, turn to idolatry. They're butchers, they're bad people all the way through. The whole northern kingdom of Israel that's after the kingdom was divided after David and then Solomon, and then the kingdom's divided. Judah had only about 3 good kings. Josiah was one of them. Jehoshaphat was one of them. And but through the history of the 20 kings, or how many they had, there was only like 3 of them that really served God and were good guys. One of them was Jehoshaphat. Okay, and his son Jehoram becomes king after Jehoshaphat dies. Now, are these people over here good or bad? Not just these people on this side of the room. But Northern Kingdom, are they good or bad? Bad. When Jehoram's growing up, there's a revival in Israel because his father Jehoshaphat loves God and serves God and does what's right. So they have this great revival going on in Judah, the southern kingdom, Jerusalem, that area, and this is Samaria, the northern kingdom. And there's a great revival that goes on, but Jehoram makes a big mistake. See, with his father at one time, Jehoshaphat, let's go back and read this a little bit. 1 Kings chapter 22. Go back to 1 Kings chapter 22. We'll read just a couple of lines, okay? 1 Kings chapter 22, just to review who Jehoshaphat was. We went over this a couple months ago. It's the last chapter in 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 22, look down verse 41. And Jehoshaphat the son of Asa began to reign over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab, king of Israel. And Jehoshaphat was 35 years old, and he began to reign. He reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in all the ways of Asa his father. He turned not aside from it, doing that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, which is a good thing. It's a big thing that Jehoshaphat was this way. His son would have seen what his father had done. Okay, his son would have noticed that his father walked with God and did what's right in the sight of God. Verse 44, and Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. Okay, which was Ahab. And the rest of Acts, Jehoshaphat, how he showed how he warred. They're not written in the book of Chronicles of Kings of Judah. So the rest of the history about Jehoshaphat is all good. So just Jehoram grows up in Jehoshaphat's home, and he sees his father walking with God, but he makes one drastic mistake. In the verses that we read in chapter 8, second Kings, he marries the daughter of Ahab. Okay? 32 years when and he walked, chapter 8, verse 18 says, and he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab, for the daughter of Ahab was his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. So he took a man that was brought up in a godly home. His father walked with God, served God, did what was right. He wouldn't join up with them when they were doing bad, but he tried to join up with them for a battle at one time, and Ahab stabbed him in the back. But Jehoshaphat was a godly man, made wise choices almost all the time. But his son chose to marry somebody from this other side. Okay? You ever see that in your lifetime? See somebody that's brought up in a godly home, marry somebody that's completely different, and that life changes completely. I mean, Mary goes from you think the best kid in the world grows up and marries somebody from a completely different background, and their life changes. Okay, and that's what happens all the time. Okay. Lloyd Humphreys, our pastor, when he first got saved, he said, don't lay down with dogs, you won't get fleas. Okay? Right? You ever heard that saying? Right? Proverbs tells us this, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Now, any person that's over here wants to marry somebody that's over from it's a completely different religion. They were worshiping Baal. Okay? If they were worshiping Molech, some of the other gods of the heathen people, they looked at the heathen people instead of worshiping God. They offered their children, like for Molech, they burned their own children up in fires, okay, as a sacrifice to their false god. So they knew, these people knew what they were doing was wrong, okay. Last week we talked about the king on this side, even though he'd been doing wrong all his life and knew it. When he was about to die, not this king of Syria, which was about the same thing. When he knew he was about to die or he was sick, and Elisha was around, he sent to Elisha to say, well, I'll be healed of this disease. Remember that? That's the king of Syria. Okay, it's the same thing. Anybody that's over here can decide to come over here, right? And anybody that's over here can marry someone from over there if they'll come over here and say, okay, I want to be Christian. Okay? I want to do what's right. But a lot of times people make bad choices. But she's pretty. That's good. But he's smart. Oh, that's great. But if there's something missing over here in a relationship with God, okay? Jehoram married Jehoshaphat's daughter. Got all kinds of trouble. Okay. The Bible says, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers." It doesn't matter whether it's business relationships or who it is. There's a lady that when Tam and I were in college, she taught the sign language class. I don't remember much about it, but Tammy remembers. I remember how to sign. I didn't do so well in the class. But Miss Jeffries was, she never got married. At the time that she was our teacher, she was probably in her 60s, I guess. And she had been teaching forever. She'd been working in the church and teaching forever. And people would ask her, "Are you ever going?" She's a real nice lady. And people say, "Are you ever going to get married?" And she said, "The only thing worse than being an old maid is wishing you were one." Okay? And so, I don't know if you'll get that. But she said she would never want, because she always enjoyed serving God and walking with God. And she didn't want anybody, there was a doctor in the church wanted to marry her at one time. But she thought, okay, what she had was perfect. She didn't want anything else. Okay? A lot of people, Bible says, not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Find the lowest common denominator, one thing they have in common with one person over here. I'll just talk about marriage now. I'm talking about business or friendship or whatever it is. There might be, Larry may have seen us coaching soccer. There might be some good kid that's on this side, it's a good Christian kid, but has one thing in common, goes to school with somebody else, plays on soccer team with somebody else, with a bad kid, and then ends up in trouble all the time. It's not his nature to get in trouble like this kid over here does, but just because he joins up with that kid, because that kid has personality or has an enthusiasm or whatever about what he's doing, because that kid has time on his hands and no boundaries at home, then this kid gets in trouble just by yoking up with it, just by joining up with it. Okay, there are people, Proverbs says this, make no friendship with an angry man, with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. If anything that you're over here, and you see somebody that's over here, Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, whatever, and you see somebody that you like to be around, if there's something that you hesitate because of something that they say or something that they do, then back away from them. Well, John, it's hard to do. Yeah, it is. Okay? I would rather have no friends than bad friends. And there's been times when I've had to back away from some of my friends, but good friends, the kids I grew up with, they were just great friends when we were kids. And I said, I can't go with them anymore. I love to hunt. I've loved to hunt since I was 13 years old. Some of my buddies that I hunted with before I got saved, when I moved from lost to saved, I could still call them, do stuff with them, play ball with them or whatever, but there's times when I say, I can't hang out with them, okay? Because of what they're going to do, who they are, what they're doing, okay? One of those good friends of mine, Charlie went and witnessed to him the week after I got saved. I went down to his house, told him what I did, told him how to get saved. He didn't want anything to do with it. He's serving life sentence in prison right now. He'll never get out, okay, for his crime. He said, I like it over here. I'm going to do what I want to do. No one's going to tell me what to do. Police, grandma, no one's going to tell me, okay? Okie dokie. Proverbs 13, verse 20 says this, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. A lot of people that are over here have a personality, a magnetic personality draws people to them, okay? It might be something that's drawn to them in politics or in business or something else. But you understand, you create a lot of problems for yourself by joining up with that person. Okay? They may be in business. There's people I know that are great people in business, but not godly people. Okay? I can sell to them or I can buy from them, but I don't want to go business with them. Does that make sense? I don't want to be yoked up with them, okay, for decisions that they may make. Turn me to let's look at Proverbs, a couple verses. Proverbs chapter 28. I quoted a minute ago, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20 says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but companion of fools shall be destroyed. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 7 says this, whoso keepeth the law is a wise son. That's a good thing. That's someone in Judah that says, I'm going to do what's right, okay? Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is companion of riotous men shameth his father. Charlie, maybe you see as a teacher or whatever, as a teacher. Kids that are over here, if they do what's right, the parents are real proud of them. Okay? All they got to do is have one friend gets in trouble. I think the kids have been through here, in the last few years, or over the last 27 years, kids that are good kids, they have one bad friend, and that bad friend gets them in trouble. They say, well, I'll win them to Christ. I can tell you how many young ladies that have grown up in church, and they meet some guy that's a heathen guy, and they say, well, I will win him. Okay? I love him. I'm going to win him to Christ. And before, by the time they get married, they're out of church and never come back again. They raise up the kids out of church, and it's a continual story that way. Okay? But I will love him to Christ. Well, that's great. I'm glad you can love him, but once you get saved first, well, have him make it switch first. Okay? Companionship. Everybody wants it. Anybody want to be alone all your life? Besides Jessica. Jessica don't like anybody. She don't like anybody. Okay? So but most people, even animals like being together, right? We had Rebecca's horse and my horse. My horse was a big Belgian horse. Rebecca's had the Arabian Jasmine, and we went on a trail ride one time out at someone else's farm. And we got back, and everyone was putting putting the horses back. There's like 30 horses there, 30 bunch of people there. And they're putting the horses in the trailer, and I didn't want to put the horse in the trailer. And David Underwood said, just put Bud in a corral. No, put Jasmine in a corral, and Bud won't go anywhere because he will never leave her. They've been around together. They've been with each other for a couple of years, like 5 years or longer at that point. And as long as she was in the riding ring, Bud would not go 10 feet from the riding ring. Why? Because of companion animals. They like being around. They like being with somebody, right? They like being with each other. They were riding on that same ride. I think Jared was riding Jasmine, and Bud was pulling a cart. And there was a bridge that was a wooden bridge where the boards were together. It's on a road, on a regular road. The boards were together, but the boards were making a lot of noises as people were riding across it and stuff. And Jasmine got to the bridge and wouldn't stop, and she wouldn't go across it. She stopped, and she just waited. And Jared was riding her with the other riding horses, and we were coming up behind them with the wagons and carts. And she stood there with that bridge, and Jared couldn't get her to cross the bridge until Bud came. And when Bud crossed it, she crossed it. You know, there's something about a companionship thing that says, okay, I'll do it if nobody goes into sin alone, right? Nobody goes in. I tell Tammy, they're like, if we like the last 2 pieces of pie or something like that, we don't need that extra piece of pie, but nobody goes in. No, I don't want to eat that last piece of pie by myself. You'll split it with me, we eat it. No one goes into sin alone, right? Jasmine wouldn't cross the bridge without Bud going with her. The companion, the righteous man, ashamed with his father. There's a lot of kids, good kids, with the wrong friend. Okay. Everybody's influenced by other people, either for good or for bad. Let me ask you this: who influences you in your life right now? Who's the biggest influence in your life? Anybody answer that out loud? Who's the person that who's the person that leads you whichever way you're going more than anybody else? Who's the person that directs you right now? Okay. Next question is this: then. Who do you influence? I think Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, made peace with Israel, and after he made peace with Israel, his son married Ahab's daughter. Okay. Who do you influence? Who do you lead? Every one of us leads either your children or your grandchildren. Everybody in here leads somebody, right? Marie, you taught not just teaching in school, but you have influence on your kids and your grandkids. Okay. Or the neighbor's kids that's not related to you. If you're the influence, are you pouring people to the Judah side or to the Israel side? By our tongues? By our action? Which one do we lead? Which direction are we going? Jehoshaphat learned from Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, learned from his first experience with Ahab not to trust Ahab again. Never went back with him, never joined him again after the first battle. He never trusted him again. He wouldn't associate with it, but by then, his son had already met Ahab's daughter and they got married. Okay. Jehoram made a choice not to follow his godly dad, which to me is surprising. Okay? Who was the wisest man in the Bible? Who wrote Proverbs? You know? Who wrote the book of Proverbs? Solomon. You know what his son did? Exact opposite of everything Proverbs tells him to do. Why would that happen? Why would his son not follow him and do what his father did? Why would his son not walk? Why would his son not? I mean, okay. If your father has made wise choices and is the wealthiest man, not just in the land, on the planet, wouldn't you want to do what he says? How many would want to do what he says? Right? If he says this is a good idea, would you say I'm in? Right? I think I would. I don't know. But Solomon's son, Rehoboam, didn't. He didn't do anything. He didn't follow his father's footsteps at all. Okay? Just because of the wealth part? On the wealth part, yeah. But I'm talking. choices. If kids turn out terrible, most often there's somebody over here pulling them, right? Someone else will make it. Okay. One of the kids in our church a few years back was getting in a lot of trouble. And they were getting in a lot of trouble because all their friends were over here. And when their friends came to their house and saw how their mom and dad both worked and all the nice house and the things that they had in life, and the dad was telling me this a while back. When this friend from we'll say from Israel had come over to Judah and saw how the people of Judah were living and the good things in life that they have, they said, "Wow, look at all that you have." And the kid from Judah said, "I want the trash that you have." Okay? It didn't make sense. And the dad was beating his head against the wall saying, "Why does my kid want what they have? Why does the kid want what I have?" Okay? Okay, we better make sure what we have is real. Right? We better make sure what we have is leading our kids in the direction that they want what we have. Not just technically, materially speaking. I want a Dodge truck because Daddy's got a Dodge truck. I'm just saying, I want the life that they have. Okay? I want something inside of them is real. I want what they have. Okay? Set the example so that they'll follow. Because you're the best example your child or grandchild has. For a lot of people, you're the only Bible we're going to read. Okay? Or not just your kids, the people you influence. Okay? Any questions? Comments? Anybody want a piece of pizza? We'll go back there in the back. Okay, let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. Thank you for the truth you've given us. I think we celebrate this year the coming of Christ. This time of the year, the coming of Christ. Thank you for the truth you've given us in your word, the examples that you've given us. Use us, please, for your glory. In Jesus' name we ask. Hey, one last thing that hits me when I read through this. I didn't write it down, but I thought about it later. When you go through the kings of Israel, almost all of them on this side were bad. And almost all of them on this side were bad. Some of them were good. But there's one king that you can follow. It's Jesus Christ. Make him your king. He'll never lead you astray. He'll never make you associate with evil. He'll never connect you with bad people. He'll always align you up with good people and provide a light to your pathway. Okay? And he'll never lead you in the wrong direction. The greatest king ever. Okay. Thank you. Dismissed. You can join the kids. If you have kids back there, you can join them in the party. Okay? Kids, grandkids. And the kids are going to be singing this Sunday morning, too. Don't forget that.